Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rad Nauseam YouTube channel. You're here for the latest weekly roundup. It'll be covering the 18th to the 25th of August, 2025. I'm your host, Billy, and I'm here with Cull. G'day, Cull.
Hey, how you going, Billy?
Yeah, pretty good. I think first off, we wanted to just touch on how to get featured on this channel. So, how do you get featured, Cull?
Gotta play something cool, something unique, something a bit more Grixis.
Yeah, we want to see some sweet brews. So, we're not going to be featuring metadecks on this channel. We will do a future series covering, some metadecks in detailed deck text. But at the moment, we're trying to highlight the sweet brews. So that's step one. And step two is you've got to post a winning record. So just an example here. On the right-hand side, if it's a 4-round event, you need to get more than half the points that are available. So in a 4-round event, that would mean getting 2 wins and a draw at minimum. Or you could go 3-1 or 4-0, of course. So picking up more than half the points in your event is how you're going to get featured on here. Jumping in, once again in alphabetical order. Adelaide this week, there were 6 players at Shuffled Local Game Store on Wednesday. 2 wins and a draw was Tinker Storm. I'm not sure how Storm manages to get to a draw, but they did. And 2 wins and 1 loss was Breach Bond.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like some sort of ID in the finals or round 2 or something there.
Yeah, possibly. Not really sure how they got a time on Tinker Storm, but yeah, they did it. Brisbane, unfortunately, we weren't able to get the lists for Brisbane this week, but they did have 34 players at the MTG Mate Event Centre, so that's super impressive. That's on a Wednesday out at Banyo. We will have these lists for you in the next roundup. They have been recorded, so I think we're going to get all 34 lists, which should be great, and they'll be coming in the next one. It's a fortnightly event, so the next event will be on Wednesday, 3rd of September, so make sure you don't miss that if you're in Brisbane. In Canberra, there was 3 decks going 3 wins and 0 loss at Jolt Games, 21 players overall. They were Grixis, Shops, and Breach Bond. And then we had some other winning lists at 2 wins and 1 loss. 8-point Boros Legends, Breach Bond, 2 8-point Eldrazi lists, another Breach Bond, a Grixis, and an 8-point Mono White D&T.
Yeah, some sweet list here, not just breaking the winning record. Your Cosmetic Oracle, which I believe is a Cosmogoyf with Oracle, so you can use your Consult and Pact as other ABs to kill your opponent, and shout out Food Midrange as well.
Yeah, the schedule format putting up an impressive 0-3 in Canberra. Unfortunately, not able to be featured, but perhaps keep grinding away on the food and we'll get there next time. In Melbourne and Maze of Fitzroy on a Tuesday, we had 11 players. Taking it out with 3 wins and 1 loss was Golgari Lands. On 2 wins and 2 draws was Grixis. 2 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, there was Grixis and Mardudes. And 2 wins and 1 draw was Jeskai in terms of the winning decks.
And very sweet to see Amulet Titan here. It may have gone 0-4 on the Tuesday here, but on the Wednesday, the day after, it did cook me with 2 amulets on either turn 3 or 4, and I was toast.
Yeah, Olivier grinding away on the Amulet Titan there. Early days testing that list, but it looks pretty sweet. So hopefully we'll see that into the winners bracket soon enough. Also in Melbourne, at Plenty of Games on Wednesday, there was 18 players. Surprise, surprise. 4-0 was Storm. There was 4 decks on 3 wins and 1 loss. There was 4-color mid, so no blue. Atraxa Walks, we are calling it Atraxa Walks now. I'm just going with the Omnath Walks naming convention. So formerly we've been saying Black Walks. From now on, we're going to call it Atraxa Walks. There was also Storm and Golgari Lands. And then 2 wins, 1 loss, Storm and Goblins.
Yeah, it's nice to see Storm here spreading out their players with a 4-0, 3-1, and a 2-1, just to get a bit of variance in the presentation slides.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the Amulet Titan list showing up again today. There's also some sweet lists here that didn't quite make the cutoff. There's the Nadu Time Vault list that we've featured before. I'm also seeing an initiative list and an 8-point Thoracle, which seems pretty sweet. Over in Perth at Good Games Morley on a Thursday, there was 22 players, and taking it out with a 4-0 was Boros Legends. And then a few decks at 3 wins and 1 loss. We had Red Deck Wins, Boros Stoneblade, Jeskai Control, Bots, Jund, and 8-point Demir.
Yeah, a lot of the color red over in Perth. I wonder what that's about.
Looks like it. Speaking of the color red, also in Perth, Good Games North on Sunday, there was 18 players, and we had a 5-round event here. Taking it out with 3 wins, 0 losses, and 2 draws was World Gorgeous Servant, which is a pretty sweet red-black combo list, and also 5-color mid. So the World Gorgeous Servant is going to be the first deck that we cover here. And yeah, looking at this one, it's super sweet. What sticks out to you, Cull?
This has got so much stuff I love. The welder and the engineer for all the artifact shenanigans, throwing a defiler in and out. It's playing a bit heavy into the combo with Beseech the Mirror and Diabolic Intent in the main deck. But my personal favorites here are the Voldaren Epicure. That's where you discard your combo pieces into the graveyard, but also give you a World Gorger outlet at a 1-mana creature. And the 3-mana Daretti, which is the Rakdos Grist.
Yeah, so it looks like they've gone for like mono combo here. Like I see Painter's Servant. I assume there's a Grindstone here. Yep, of course there's the Grindstone, and then as you said, the World Gorger Dragon combo. So I guess that's where the name comes from. They're welding, they're gorging, they're Painter's Servanting. They're just really doing it all.
Yeah, this is very sweet.
And we have one more list for you from this event. It's down at the 3 wins and 2 losses, so still putting up a positive record, and that is Depth's mid-range. This one also looks pretty sweet. What do you see here, Carl?
Yes, this is just more of a kind of an Abzan mid-range list here, but with a bit of Dark Depths, Thespian Stage in the lands package. There's a Shifting Woodland, there's a Strip Miner Wasteland, a Caracas, but most of the creature suite and your permanents are actually less land based. There's no Fastbond, no Crucible, more into the pre-war Skull Clamp side of things. It's cool seeing Sunset Saboteur in the creatures.
Yeah, so new card there. That one's a 1 and a black for a 4/1 with Menace. It has Ward, discard a card, and whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature an opponent controls. So I guess you're aiming to land this on an empty board, or possibly just put a counter on one of their creatures and then kill it. Obviously attacks quite well. As a 4/1 Menace, it's going to get in pretty hard.
Yeah, 2-mana 4/1 with Clamp in the deck. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and was just going to say we have the Cloud package here. It seems pretty popular. People jumping back on Skullclamp because of Cloud, Midgard Mercenary, which obviously is sort of like a Stoneforge, tutoring up an equipment on ETB. And then this one has the ability, as long as Cloud is equipped, if the ability of Cloud or an equipment attached to it triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. So Cloud tutoring Skullclamp, Skullclamp on Cloud, immediately drawing you 4 cards there, which is pretty brutal to come back from. Next up in Sydney, from Good Games Chatswood on Tuesday at 6:30, there was 9 players. Taking it out with the perfect 3-0 was 8-point Boros Legend Blade. And also with a winning record at 2 wins and 1 loss, we had 8-point Mardudes, 8-point Rakdos Madness, Celestial Lands, and 8-point Mono Blue Tron. So some really sweet lists here.
Yeah, there's some cool lists here. Unfortunately, like 1 win short of that positive record is the Farcasters list. We're still waiting to see. So hopefully one day it can break through that barrier.
Yeah, really keen to see the slivers list when we can. For now, we've got some sweet lists for you, though. We've got the 8-point Rakdos Madness list, so we'll take a look at that. And this one's just super sweet. What are you loving to hear, Carl?
There's a lot of new cards here. There's cards from the recent Jumpstart, cards from Final Fantasy. I mean, your MH3 cards. A lot of cards I love, a lot of cards I don't know about. But I gotta say the 2 favorites here for me are going to be the Exsanguinated Cavalry, the 3-mana Vampire Knight. I just think that card's so sweet. And I mean, I know it's your favorite too, the old Currency Converter.
Yeah, I'm a big Currency Converter fan, and obviously it's quite a good home for it here with the discard theme. Notably a Mana Crypt deck, so I guess looking to try and cast some 3-drops on turn 1. Notably, there's a Rotting Regisaur, so 7 power on the board in turn 1 is pretty brutal, particularly when the discard synergy is mitigated with the Madness cards. This is a sweet list. Yeah, I haven't really played against a Madness deck in 7-point before, but I am keen to after seeing this. Next from this event, we have for you the Selesnya lands list. So this is a pretty standard, I guess, looking lands list. Lots of lands, creature cards. Bright Glass Gearhulk, I guess, is one of the draws into white. So Bright Glass Gearhulk, 4 mana, 4/4, first strike and trample. When this creature enters, you may search your library for up to 2 artifact, creature, and/or enchantment cards with mana value 1 or less. Reveal them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle. Do you want to tell us why this is good in lands, Carl?
Oh, there's a really good 1-mana enchantment that a lot of lands decks really enjoy putting into play and getting it from their deck. That would be Fastbond.
We're talking about on thin ice, so sorry, continue.
It's close. This deck's playing Idyllic Tutor as well. Like it's trying to get this Fastbond into play. Also, the Bright Glass finds your Zoran Orb to go with the Fastbond. So obviously Fastbond, Zoran Orb, and a Crucible of Worlds is a 3-piece ABC Infinite. And the deck's also running Fastbond with the new Ice Till, and those 2 go infinite with a Glacial Chasm in play. allowing you to keep playing the Glacial Chasm, sack it to itself, and you take no damage with the Chasm when the fast bond trigger hits. So lets you mill your deck, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, and there's normally a way once you mill your deck to assemble a win. So just for clarity for people with the Bright Glass, the combo there is you have a Crucible in play already, you cast Bright Glass and have 1 mana up, allowing you to fetch the Fast Bond and the Zero Orb. You spend the 1 mana to cast the Fast Bond, the Zero Orb obviously costs 0, and then you've assembled the infinite combo there, which is infinite life. If you have a Surveil land, you can put your deck into the graveyard, generally find a win there as well.
Yeah, this deck is playing 1 Surveil land, plus we're playing the Canopy land. So you can either draw your deck to your hand, you can Surveil your deck to the grave, and then play your lands back, or shifting woodland the permanents back you need, and there's always a win. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, sweet list. Next up from this one, we have the 8-point mono blue Tron list. This deck looks sweet. It's probably what I was expecting. I haven't seen many 8-point mono blue Tron lists, but looking at it, got lots of blue cards, got lots of big cards, trying to put them into play.
Yeah, I mean it's got the blue, and it's definitely monocolored. New cards like the Summon Bahamut and Extinguish a Battleship are here. One of my Vintage Cube favorites, Nexus of Becoming, is here. It's a nice little tinker target. And Memory Lapse in the main board is pretty sweet.
Yeah, the old Time Walk there. I'm enjoying this Darksteel Monolith. So if you do get stuck with some of these big cards in hand, you can tinker for it. The Darksteel Monolith allows you to cast a colorless spell. The first one each turn is going to cost you 0. So if you're stuck with, say, a Portal to Phyrexia in your hand or the Extinguish a Battleship, you can tinker for this instead and put it into play. So that's some pretty sweet tech. And obviously, as a Tron list, you're playing all the Tron lands.
Lots of the current shop spots and advice lists are pretty scared of this kind of stuff, but this is a real Tron list playing the Cloud Post, and gone all the way in there with the Nexus, the Glimmer Post, the Trench Post. So yeah, very, very sweet.
And interestingly, choosing to spend that 8th point on Mental Misstep.
Couldn't be me.
Next up, still in Sydney, we had Chromatic Games with 9 players on a Thursday. Taking it out with 3 wins and 1 loss is Grixis and Rakdos Madness. So the Rakdos Madness list we just showed you, still putting in work on a Thursday. And then at 2 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, we had Atraxa Walks and Storm. So 2 of the boogeymans of the format at the moment.
Not my cup of tea.
You're a Storm pilot, Cull.
Yeah, I'm not good though. I'm not a 2-win, 1 loss kind of Storm pilot.
All right, moving on in Wollongong. On Good Games Wollongong on a Friday, 6:30, there was 9 players, and taking it out with a perfect 4-0 was Simic Endstone, and we have that list for you. So labeled here is Blue-Green Academy. This list to me just looks like a Tolarian Academy and every single way possible to find it.
Yeah, this deck very much wants to get this Academy into play. There's a world map, there's an expedition map, a crop rod, a Sylvan Scrying. It's got the Minamo for the Academy. It's got a fast bond. It's got a main deck carpet. It wants to make mana and it wants to make a lot of it. There's a Candelabra, a Mox Diamond. There's a lot of stuff going on here where it wants to make mana, and I guess the Endstone is a great way to spend that mana.
Yeah, so 7 mana gets you the Endstone. That's a legendary artifact. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card, and then at the beginning of your end step, your life total becomes half your starting life total rounded up. So your life total becomes 10. And yeah, whenever you play a land or cast a spell, draw a card, combined with fast bond, that's going to allow you to rip through pretty much your entire deck, I imagine, once you get this into play.
Yeah, it's very similar to Song of Creation from the other like legacy kind of Storm decks, but it's cool to see it kind of get its own little hub here in the Tinker shelves as well. Not requiring it to be a Storm card here. It can just be a real big value engine.
And so it looks like to me, once you've got your Endstone and your fast bond assembled, once you're doing what you want to do, the win cons here look like they're going to be a Walking Ballista, shoot them to death, or perhaps a Khan fetching the lattice from the sideboard, or possibly just going big. You've got the Ugin. You could just get rid of all their permanents, I guess.
Yeah, the Khan can also grab the Cyber Drive Awakener or a Kappa Cannoneer from the sideboard too, if you really just need to hit him in the face.
Yeah, this deck's sweet. Same event at 3 wins and 1 loss. We had 4 Blaster Moon, which we covered last week. There's a Grixis midrange deck and an 8-point Blood Pod. We have that list for you, and we'll take a look now. So yeah, here we have the Blood Pod list for you. It looks sweet, but I'm not exactly sure what it does. Cull, what does this list do?
I'm going to say a scary word here, but this is a CDH originated deck, focusing with Tymna and Tana as the commanders. You're like a 4-color Sands Blue mid-rangey kind of thing. You're looking to put creatures into play a bit of everything. You got Bowmasters, Dahlias, Endurance, Oppos. So kind of like a bit of a toolboxy style deck, but you do have a combo outlet. So with your 3-drops and such, you can pod them into your Felidar Guardian and start a little combination. So you'll pod your 3-drop into Felidar. Felidar will flicker your Birthing Pod again. The Birthing Pod can then sack the Felidar to find a Karmic Guide, which will bring back your Felidar. Felidar can then flicker the Birthing Pod, which lets you sacrifice the Felidar to find a Kiki-Jiki. The Kiki-Jiki can copy the Karmic Guide, bring back Felidar one more time to flicker the Kiki, and then Kiki and Felidar on the field, lets you make an infinite number of 1/4 cat beasts with haste, which usually can kill your opponent.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of steps, but if it works, it works. So yeah, sweet pod list here, and I guess also just has a reasonably strong mid-range plan. Cards like Fable, Pyrogoyf, Palace Jailer, things that are good to flicker or to pod into. Spending 3 points on White Plume here, notably an 8-point list as well.
Yeah, you're still playing Pyrogoyfs and Ragavans and Emperor Bones. It's going to be so bad,
Still on the Wollongong event, there was at 2 wins and 2 losses. There was a sweet Ruby Storm list. Looks like we don't have the list for you, but hopefully that one gets another win and we can feature that next week.
Yeah, Ruby Storm's very sweet. It's played a bit in Modern at the moment, played a bit in Legacy, and it's just kind of using your medallions to reduce your cost of your red spells and just go off straight with red spells. But I believe a few Ruby Storm lists in 7-point I've seen a splashing a bit of black here and there, but it's a cool list to see.
Next up, we have Volti Fight Night 46, which was on a Tuesday and had 13 players. Again, no surprises. The 4-0 was Storm. And coming in at 3-1, we had Bots, Rug Prowess, Eldrazi, and Mardu Initiative. And then we also had the Volti Fight Night 47. This one was on a Friday with 9 players. This time they switched it up. The 4-0 was Bots, and the 3-1 was Storm. Also a Bug Reanimator on 3-1. Once again, if you want more info on weekly and fortnightly events and where to play Highlander, make sure you check out our YouTube video, Where Can I Play 7-Point Highlander? And once again, thank you to everyone who helped us collect deck lists and data this week. This week it was Raj, Zach, myself, Eddie, Harry, Josh, Michael, Adam, Henry, Lockie, Stephen, and Ariel.
Thank you to everyone from the Discord for the support as well. Really appreciate it. For the likes and subscribes. Be sure to hit those buttons, and I'm going to go clear up a new deck for weekly, so hopefully I'll be on the Cool Brews next week.